is why we test in prod, and this is why everything gets fucked up if you don't stream often enough, because everything got deleted off my shit. And I'm also now can't even find this other one. So there's going to be a sick intro in 2 weeks. Oh, yeah. Cool. That's live. Clicking like on my own video. Yes, 1 like. So there we go. That can get shot, I think. Yep. Oh, unless we want, yeah, that can go. So, oh, you guys couldn't even see that. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. So first of all, I'm trying to find the old intro. So Hexographer is cooking up a sick intro. Man, this thing's busted. Maybe it's this one. Yes. So it's like a little paint thingo. Is the right one. Now where's the Tang gang? The old one's not even here. Logos, video clips. Maybe it's this one.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin.
No, that's not it. Oh, maybe 43 deleted it. Oh, what a shit show. All right, we don't have time for that anyway. This is going to be a power stream. We're doing a choose your own adventure. We're testing the tech. I'm taking notes. Intro needs to be fixed. So I haven't streamed for a while. That's going to change. We're going to get back. I was doing so well. I was averaging a stream a week. And then it was that festive period that just fucked everything up. So this one's going to be the choose your own adventure because there's just too much stuff to cover for me to decide. So the audience is going to decide. And this is good because it's at a time where there's not that many people watching. So if you're in the audience, you can ask questions. You can ask for categories of things. I'm not allowing you to choose the coins, but you can say chart coins. I'm not allowing you to choose the news, but you can say talk about news or answer questions, whatever the fuck, right? So there's some degree of choose your own adventure by the audience, but not to the level of detail where you're gonna like actually fuck people up and get them scammed. Speaking of that, don't get scammed. Don't get scammed. If you're thinking about maybe getting scammed, just buy HOA. That's the easy one, right? So like, see this t-shirt? Oh yeah, look at all this free shit that I get from the Tang gang. Well, like from people within the Tang gang. This t-shirt, that clock. So both of those lights behind me, the hex light and the orange hexagon, although that can be made any color, they are gifts. They were gifts to me, but not by the Tang gang. They were gifts from, well, I guess you could say that person's in the Tang gang, but that's not primarily how I know that person. So let's fucking go. So we're going to start. Don't worry. I'm going to share the screen. Don't worry. We learn from past mistakes. Let's just share the whole fucking window then. That's going to make it easy. So I'm planning to do another stream. Actually, whenever I feel like it, but within a week. So definitely not a whole week to the next one. I want to do more frequent than that. Keeping up to date with what's going on in the Tang gang. This one, if I don't hear from the audience, I'm going to be going through some of the news items and using that as prompts for what we can talk about. Here's the PLS chart, but we're actually going to start with the Bitcoin chart. So Bitcoin chart, here's roughly the parabola that Ivan drew. Bullish, super bullish ahead of the parabola. We could fall all the way back down to sort of 45 right now. We could fall to 45K and still be in this parabola. So watch out. This Gann fan that I drew on the chart a long time ago actually is at its final ray, which is pretty cool. Pulse is in this epic flag that I talked about on Crypto 7 stream. So I'm just going to reset the target, not target, the reminder setter. So this flag, if it actually plays out, goes all the way to the top fib extension. They're about the same level, which is around about 4 times base SAC. Yacht has skipped the queue because it's been an absolute beast. Don't mind this pullback. That's probably a good thing. So, Ted brought to my attention, or brought to everyone's attention, and actually he wasn't the first person. A few people had noticed and posted in the Yacht Telegram that Yacht is just an absolute beast at the moment in terms of its liquidity ad. So the liquidity on Yacht is almost half the cap. And that's been increasing, by the way. So Yacht's a freaking beast. There's going to be some info being dropped in the Yacht Telegram soon, but there's a lot of really epic things cooking up for Yacht, you know, that I think will probably be price performative, but may or may not be. You know, you guys decide whether you think that's going to, whether those things are going to impact the price. This is a daily chart. So if you wanted to be a scared little rabbit, you could maybe be fearful that it's going to drop back down to here. I'm going to be using the same sort of logic soon on the HOA chart. If it came back to here, it's less than 20%. So it's less. So assuming that the bull market's not just going to rip everything to the upside before having to actually go down and test prior, specifically significant prior highs, which I think is the case. So this would be, in my opinion, my absolute worst case scenario. Obviously anything can happen. It can go to zero. The whole thing can rug at any moment. But if we're being realistic, this would be kind of like your ultimate worst case scenario, which is less than a 20% drop. And if we look at it in PLS, it's probably even better. Oh, it's almost a completely different looking chart. Actually, that modus, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say here. I don't want to spend too long on any one coin because we've got a lot to talk about. But Yacht has just been an absolute beast. It deserves a little bit of a... And obviously Yacht has got my attention since the Tang gang put my name in the description of the coin there, Tangent's Golden Yacht. So that's only 3.5% for it to get down to that level there. Okay, let's look at some other coins. I mean, okay, we can look at OG. This looks like a level. The reason why I'm measuring down is not because I think the coins are going to go down. It's because I think it's reasonable to look at sort of what is the largest amount of drawdown that you would be expecting before the thing's going to rocket to the upside. So if we assume that we're bullish, if everyone agrees with me that it's a bull market, finally, some people still think it's a bear market, lol. So yeah, let's take a quick look. So that's also less than 20%, and it's actually already bouncing right now. Oh yeah, you could actually argue that that's a support level there. So we actually bounced off a support level for OG, and there's another one within 20%. And that's actually the comment that I was going to make about HOA as well. And then we'll move away from the charts and come back to them later. I've got a maximum of about 30 minutes. I actually prefer how I stream when I know I've got a tight time limit, because then I don't F around going on too many tangents. So let's look at HOA on the daily. What time frame was that OG chart? Oh, so last time we streamed, OG was actually higher. It was just before the the local peak. That was daily as well on OG. You guys can see that chart? Yes, thank God. Let's go to This is HOA on the daily, but I would actually rather see HOA on V3. I don't know why I've still got the V2 one there. Well, that was a ballsy trend line being drawn there. So in some respects, this does look like it's sort of rolling over. However, I wouldn't worry too much about that because we're not at the end of a bull market. We're at the start of one. The way I like to look at this chart is, are we on daily yet? Yep. So there's a support level here and probably here. So one of the support levels we literally just bounced off yesterday and continuing today. So that could be the entire dip and we could just start going up. That's possible. That's one possibility. Where's the arrow, bro? What the hell? Okay, no arrows. No arrows for this gangster. And then the other one, the other support is also sort of within 20% of that support. So I like those odds. I like that risk reward. You know, two of my IRL friends have got not wrecked, but they're in their heaviest bag is in coins that are performing really badly. They're coins that are on Ethereum and they're just performing terribly. And I don't like to tell people just get out of that shit and buy HOA, because then if that relative performance doesn't play out, I don't want to be responsible for it. But I basically said to them, look, Ivan on Tech makes a good point that you need to remember that sometimes you've got to cut your losers and let your winners run. And that the coins that have been most performative for various reasons that are legitimate and logical, those coins are actually likely to keep performing. So I was like, I don't know, dude, like maybe maybe don't sell all of it in case that coin that you're in goes and does like a 100x and then you're going to be sad and kicking yourself that you held it all this time and then literally sold out just in time for the run. But maybe take somewhere between 20 and 50% and get that, buy HOA, and then work out how many X's HOA needs to do to cover like this sadness that you have over this loss. And if that's realistic, that HOA is going to do those X's in a short amount of time. Because basically the thought process that I was trying to help him with is like, what coin, if you're trying to do this thing that we all joke about of making it all back in one trade, what are you going to use, right? So Bitcoin is literally the coin that is the most likely to go up at the moment. That's just facts, right? That's got the highest percent likelihood of going up. But the amount that it's going to go up by is not going to be the, I urgently need to, by the way, I should take a step back and say, I urgently need to make it back in one trade, or I urgently need to make gains. That is a terrible mindset to approach the market in, and just by its very nature increases your likelihood of getting wrecked. However, if you absolutely have to do it, I was playing the game. I was doing the thought experiment of what coin would I choose that has a good risk reward profile, but also actually has potential for mad gains. I personally landed on HOA. You need to make your own decision. Maybe yacht. But I don't want people to think I'm being biased on yacht because it's got my name in the coin. So HOA would be my pick. Everyone has to do their own assessment in terms of the risk assessment and also what they think is actually going on, and factoring in all this stuff that's going on. Man, the amount of stuff going on in the Tang gang is absolutely crazy at the moment. Absolutely bonkers. So that's part of the reason why I would select HOA. It's just, I made a comment in one of the chats. I was like, there's so much going on in the Tang gang at the moment that the signal almost sounds like noise. It's so crazy. What else have we got in here? Oh yeah, so ETH actually cracked 3K. this is bullish. This is bullish for ETH in dollar terms. In dollar terms, it's bullish. Against Bitcoin, ETH is still getting wrecked. But this is bullish in dollars. That it came up, it poked 3K, got rejected, but now it's coming up. Remember that every time it's the armor. Every time it gets hit, it gets weaker. So that's 1, 2, 3. This is the third time. How many times can it resist the price? I think this could be the one that actually breaks. You don't hear people saying, oh yeah, the resistance is really strong on like the third retest. It's the first and second test of a resistance that you're going to be fairly confident that it's going to be resistance, if at all. On the third test, I wouldn't short it. I wouldn't short it, that's for sure. So ETH looks like that's going to go up, but anything can happen. Suck my dick. If you think that this is financial advice, then you better get on your knees. And then what other coins should we look at in terms of where was Bitcoin? We already looked at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's looking bullish as shit, still over 50K. That's bullish. If you think Bitcoin is going to go down, you can also actually, if you think Bitcoin's going to go down, I wouldn't even let you suck my dick. So there's that. What else? Oh, Gillespie reckons he's going to start filming in Switzerland, I think it is. This coin has actually been flying. This coin has been absolutely flying. Look, this is GDAY. Look at where it was the last time we covered it on a stream. Well, last time we looked at the chart. Let's measure this from here all the way up to here. So it did a 7x. It's 7x up from the last time we had it on this show. You guys like 7x's? So Gillespie's starting to film. That's the news to do with that coin. That's actually in the Tang news. By the way, the Tang news is about to drop in the main chat. I've already dropped it in the gated chat for people to review and look for typos and stuff, even though this time of the day is like not great for people to even be present. So there's absolutely massive updates. There's updates about we've got multiple Web3 games now that are either by the Tang or are leaning heavily into the Tang. So I think there's 4 Web3 games. There's almost every NFT marketplace knows that if they don't lean into the Tang, they're basically wrecked, because Tang is where all the most hype is for NFTs. So there's heaps of updates to do with NFT marketplaces. There's updates about Tang protocols. There's updates about Tang's mints that have happened over the last week. They're paid mints that have just minted straight the fuck out, which is basically what I was just saying, that everyone knows that if you want to participate in NFTs on Pulse Chain, then whether you're on the marketplace side, the user side, the artist side, if you're not in the Tang, you're not going to get any traction. Like, relatively speaking, you're basically wrecked. Airdrops and giveaways have just continued to hit like HOA holders, particularly if you're a large HOA holder. If you hold over 69,420 HOA, you just basically every week you're just getting multiple things just thrown at you. Obviously, there's no guarantee of that in the future, but it continues to happen. Too much to list. I think I noticed there was like Yep and Ahoy, and like obviously me mentioning is not an endorsement. I don't even know, like some of these things theoretically could be scams. I need to look into them more, and I will. And if they're legit, we'll chart them on future streams. Maybe that'll be a new thing. I'll ask the Dilly DAO. Maybe we'll get like some voting or something on whether if something is, seeing as the fucking start of this channel was sponsored / supported by the Tang, specifically by the Pussycat team. So they sponsored the Dilly DAO to allow this channel to fund the fucking thing or whatever. Like, I don't get paid. It's nothing to do with me, but they supported the Dilly DAO to allow this channel and not the channel, sorry, nothing to do with the channel, allow the show to exist at the start, and made that sponsorship come from the Tang rather than it from them and their farms. So maybe the Dilly DAO will look favorably on projects that are supporting the, you know what I mean? This is like a meta. This is how you meta lean in. This is how you meta lean in. And by the way, this is what has made the Tang Gang an absolute fucking powerhouse, is the meta leaning in. So notice that it's like, there's things to do with the Tang Gang where people are like, so this is meta. This is like, well, the Tang Gang supported the Dilly DAO, so maybe the Dilly DAO will support the tokens that are now supporting the Tang Gang, right? It's indirect. Those tokens, they didn't send tokens to the Dilly DAO. They could. By the way, that's something we should actually talk about. Should have been at the start of the stream, but we'll say it now. It's all good. So you watch episode 1 if you want the full disclaimer. And if you don't, then you're watching this stream at your own risk. Also, if you go here, there's the address for the Dilly DAO is in the bio of my Twitter. My handle is below, down here, down here, where the cursor is, down, bottom left. So that's how it works. You go to my Twitter, you go to my profile, you see the address. That address is not mine, it's the Dilly DAO's. You send at least $20, and that's the current amount. It used to be 10, but now everything's psycho. So it probably should be more than double, but let's not get too crazy just yet, right? So, and I did warn everyone that in the bull market, that because just too many coins are getting sent in, and we've got a backlog now, which actually reminds me, some people did actually message me. Sorry, I'll just finish saying that that's my fake OCD. It just takes me off on all these tangents, hence the name. So maybe I should change my handle to fake OCD. That would actually be a pretty cool handle. So that's the whole thing though. It's $20 worth of tokens. Hopefully at one point we're going to get a decent block explorer. Internet Money, shout out Internet Money, shout out KG. They actually now claim that the wallet actually has prices for all the tokens. So I need to look into that, whether that's usable. But actually having the prices of the tokens, I also need sort of something that's a pseudo portfolio that doesn't just have the price of the tokens, but it also multiplies it by the number of tokens that you have. I need to look into that. I do actually use Internet Money, by the way. It's just not recently enough. So shout out Internet Money. Thank you for being the first to have prices of all. They get their price data from Dex Screener now, and that's all chains, not just Pulse Chain. So that's pretty dope. That's not pretty dope. That's very dope. And eventually we will end. The tech will allow me to end this problem of missing coins that are coming into the DAO and that need to get covered in the show that don't get covered and stuff like that. But for now, the system that we have is people just DM me pseudo anonymously and say, hey, I've noticed that there's a coin that got sent in that you didn't cover. And let's go to that one right now before I forget. Okay, that one's a conflict of interest. Okay, it's PCB. Sounds like a drug. PCB. By the way, I trust this person. And when I say I trust this person, to the level that is allowable with adversarial mindset, considering the scenario and environment, I trust this person. So I don't need to actually go and check. If they say that the coins are there, then the coins are there. So let's take a look. This is it here, Pulse Chain Bubbles. So this sounds like it might be something to do with the Pulse version of Crypto Bubbles, but don't assume that, you know. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the chart. So you guys know the deal now for the Dilly DAO. Well, I mean, look, on a daily time frame, newish coin, big liquidity, can't fault that. You can't fault that. It's 17K of liquidity for a 91K market cap. and it's only 15 days, so it's just over 2 weeks old. And on the longer time frame, it's in a fucking uptrend. Whew. And it's, you know, so just based on this, if it was gonna maybe dip down or something, I'm not sure. Who knows? Who knows? Anything could happen. Anything could happen. But let's look at some smaller time frames, seeing as, yeah, I mean, this chart is nice. This chart is nice, and I don't get swayed by, you know, I don't get swayed by whether a coin is sent in or not. By definition, they're the only ones that we look at. So let's just draw some lines. Is that a level? Let's actually just box out. I told this specific person, I was like, and in fact, you know what? This actually is a good info for everyone. Try not to send in, oh, well, let's say if coins are sent to the Dilly DAO that are really, really new, that's fine. However, the Dilly DAO might choose to not actually add them into the show to be charted by me until they've got a bit of price data, because otherwise you can't actually do TA on it. So here we go, rectangle. So this is perfect. This is fresh enough. This is fresh enough for it to be, for us to be so early, but old enough to actually have some price action to chart on. Can we say that maybe that's a level as well? So it was resistance and support, resistance, resistance. So yeah, that was resistance enough times for it to now, and it supported this wick here. You guys can see this, right? Yeah, supported there, bounced heavy, bounced hard off that, and there as well. So we'll take a look at this. I mean, yeah, this is not bad. This is actually not bad. I wouldn't mind. I'll need to look more into search on Twitter. Have they added? Oh yeah, so they've added their logo. Is that right? Let's just go back and look at YACHT. Wait, I'm just going to bookmark this. Yeah, so these guys have actually added their logo, because see how YACHT doesn't have a logo up there. Maybe a community member or the DAO or who knows. There's various entities that might at some point add that logo. The last time there were some whales talking about it, and I think the sticking point was they wanted to just wait and see if Dex Screener was actually going to be because you know how, like, we don't know. And by the way, my preference is actually InvestX. Shout out InvestX, they're legendary. I keep falling into the trap of because my bookmarks and all my TA is still on these Dex Screener charts. So that was one of the things. The whales were like, there were whales that were like, yeah, this is not expensive. We could just pay for YACHT to have all the socials and the logo, but are people going to even keep using Dex Screener when InvestX like takes over the game? And InvestX just lets you add all your shit for free, like in terms of logos and socials and stuff. And in fact, InvestX actively adds all the Tang stuff. So mi casa su casa, that's not the right saying. It's just the one that I wanted to say. Just wanted to flex some Spanish. I just wanted to lie to you guys in Spanish, because you're absolutely not welcome at my house just generically by seeing this stream. Otherwise, literally anyone could come to my house. So that's not how we do it. That's not how we do it in the gangland. So cool. Yeah, cool. Look, we've added it to the watch list. We'll maybe take another look at another time, but this is not looking like a terrible place to, this is already pulled back I love how sometimes we look at coins on this show. You know, some people say like, oh, don't show me coins that have just pumped like to the fucking moon. Well, how about a bullish as fuck chart that's bullish in general, bullish on the main trend, and also at a support level, and also has just had a 40% pullback, which is about the maximum amount you're ever going to get in a bull, theoretically in a bull market. A 40% pullback's kind of like your max. That's theoretically kind of what you would expect, or what you'd normally see as a max pullback. So maybe I need to actually end this stream and buy some of this shit, and hope that people don't just front run the shit out of me. But anyway, not financial advice, you know the deal. Let's go to the questions. No, that's a generic one that's generated by Restream. So Wall to Wall got first message and claimed it. Jerry says, oi, oi. Romanian Dan is in here. Red Squirrel's in here. So Red Squirrel's a great example of someone who actually didn't launch their NFT project inside of the Tang gang and still was hyper successful. And then I was having chats with him and I said, hey man, you should really join this group that I've got, the Telegram group where we talk about NFTs and stuff like that. And he came into that group, and we you know, and he was very well received. No one, not a single person in there was like, oh, but this NFT project wasn't like, didn't start its life as a Tang gang thing. It was like, yeah, dude, sick. Like welcome to the Tang gang. So that's pretty cool. He's saying pump my yacht bag. Well, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. I mean, I can speak favorably about it to the 2 people that are watching now. We've actually got 17 live viewers, which is absolutely insanely high for a small channel at a really bad time for the US. And sometimes this stat is actually wrong. It's actually sometimes higher than what it tells you. So that's actually really good. And so yeah, there's and that wouldn't pump bags, like as in, you know, that's one good thing about not having a really, really big YouTube channel, not a really big Twitter following and that sort of thing, is it would be very difficult for anyone to mount a case that you're able to move markets. Like you see how limited Elon Musk's influence is, that he's like, hey, I'm on Saturday Night Live. Everyone should buy Doge. Let's fucking pump it to the moon. I'm going to put it on the side of a rocket ship. And it's like, richest man in the world, millions of Twitter followers, literally owns Twitter, on one of like a very popular, actual, real legacy TV show, literally saying, let's fucking take this thing to the moon, pumping the fuck out of it, just shilling the shit out of it. And the price like went down. So if someone's going to come at me one day and be like, oh, you had a live stream with fucking 10 of your mates who were already in the coin. See, the people that view this channel, they already own Yacht because they're not idiots. And it's like, well, did I really influence the market? No, I didn't. So that's another thing. We basically talk to our homies that are already in the coins. That's how the Tang gang does it. Yes. This is the new, not financial advice, is suck my dick if you think this is financial advice. Let's go with that. There's another one that I'm pushing, that I'm trying to push. Oh, by the way, just a flex, I was the one that started the term hyperbull, because I identified that there needed to be, when we were clearly in a bull market and everyone was saying that they were waiting for the bull market to start, and I identified that what they were really talking was the extremely hyperbolic section of the bull market. I was like, we're going to need to split this up, because I can't educate all these dumbasses that they've already got in their mind that's not a bull market, even though it's clearly a bull market. So let's just do something where we are splitting the bull market up. So I'm not going to allow them to say that that's a bear market, but I'm going to say, okay, that's the bull market. Last year was a bull market in crypto. And then everyone's saying, and then this year's the hyperbull. So we're transitioning into the hyperbull. How do you know? So this is a question. How do you know if a coin has liquidity burned or locked? great question. It is possible to tell if you've got a functioning block explorer. I'm pretty sure you can. So once we get a really good block explorer option, it's going to be definitely possible. But so the LP of a certain coin pair is literally a fucking token. Like it's a token or an NFT or whatever. Like there's a representation on chain. And so like, let's just use this one as an example, this PCB. So see how on deck screener, see how you've got the contract address of the coin, the contract address of the coin that it's paired with. In this case, it's Pulse, it's wrapped Pulse. And then you've got this contract address of the actual pair itself. That contract address, we're going to copy that. That represents, I'm going to go to scan.tgyacht.com. So this is a block scanner that the yacht community, I've got nothing to do with this. The yacht community decided to mirror a scanner so that you have another redundancy in terms of the scanner and the front end, right? So I think this might be the 9mm scanner, or it might actually be the official Pulse, the one that the core devs. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's a front end that brings up that scanner that you don't have to like download any shit. You don't have to use IPFS, etc. Right. So let's go in here. So that's the steps. So you go to the pair that you want, you copy that contract address for the pair, and then see it comes up with this. So Pulse X LP, which is a PLP. And so that stands for, Pulse Liquidity Pool or Pulse X Liquidity Pool. And by the way, if it was on 9mm, which is 9mm is just objectively the best DEX that we have on Pulse Chain. And so whoever's involved in this PCB token, definitely consider putting some of the liquidity, since you've got quite a bit, putting some of it on 9mm. But that's cool. For the purpose of this example, you click on that. When that loads up, you're basically going to look at effectively the holder distribution. So there's a holder tab here. So you've got token transfers. So these token transfers are to do with the effectively think of it like a token in terms of, so you can send it, because you can take this representation of the LP and you can send it to another wallet address, or you can add to it, you can withdraw from it, you can, and this has also actually got all the interactions as well. See how it's got swaps. So you can see if people are actually interacting with this contract for swapping between that token and Pulse. And then they've got this holders tab here, right? Yeah, look, almost 100% of it is burnt. What an amazing question. What an amazing question. I've never heard or seen anyone talk about this, in terms of everyone talks about how important it is to burn the LPs, and everyone talks about, so in the Tang gang, people in the Tang gang will tell you which ones have got burnt LPs. Yacht, NBC, FURU, HOA, they've all got burnt LPs. But very rarely have I seen anyone describe to people how you go and check yourself. Well, that's really, rather than telling people, yes, the LP is burnt, what we should really be saying always is go and check yourself. This is how you do it. And it's not hard, right? It's literally those steps. Search for the coin on deck screener, find the LP, find the primary LP, copy the contract address for the pair, put that in a block explorer, click on the holders tab, look to see this one's got 98% of the LP. So the rest of these are obviously just community people that have added afterwards. Almost that's effectively 100% or would have been 100%. It's within 2%. So, and so this is the last step, is you need to understand what a burn address is. So a burn address is any address that would be statistically impossible, like so statistically unlikely that we assume impossible that someone could have the keys for it. So what that means is a shit ton of zeros and then whatever the fuck you want. They're all burn addresses. So 369 is a burn address, the one that's got DEAD at the end of it with different upper and lower. But remember that with these addresses, the last digit is a checksum. So you can't literally just write whatever the fuck you want. It might not be a real address. That's why the dead address is like weird capitalizations of DEAD. It's like not, it's not how you would normally write it. And that's not to look cool. It's not to be a elite hacksaw. It's because of the checksum. So this one happened to work. This is one that Richard came up with. He actually put a tweet out at one point where he was like, yo, let's make a dead address. What do you guys think? Let's get some ideas. And someone worked out that 369 works. So that's the answer to your question. Great fucking question. Hey, Klaz, how you going? Klaz says, hey. Finbear says, hey, boys and Klaz. I got fiber optics being installed. Okay, cool. And I'm not reading out the rest of that. So thanks, Tangent. I have never found anyone explain it to this detail. Excellent. See, my chick friends tell me that I mansplain too much, but in crypto education, that is a feature, not a bug. So we keep pushing, we keep going, and that's how we fucking do it. So I want to look at Duck before we. I want to take a look at Duck because that's a fucking gangster coin. Greg the Duck. Obviously, we know who Greg the Duck is referring to. Gangster ass coin. This coin has been very supportive of the Dilly DAO. So let's make sure that logs on that one. Barely any difference. So that had a massive run up. This particular chart doesn't have a. So we're going to add a. This is the last time we viewed this thingo. And look, this one's also on support. So that's on support. There's even more support just below. Yeah, I'm unaware of who the actual founder is, but they have I see them putting in work. They've got a presence on Twitter. They've been active this entire time since the beginning, which was September of 23. So this coin has been around long enough for you to know, or for it to be much less likely that it's a rug. This run that happened here was like, what did it do? It did like a 2-3x. So modest gains. It's not. That's good. That's a good thing though. Like if people were looking at it now, you don't really want to see something that's done like 1,000, like 100x or something. This is only doing in the single. This is done in the single digit x's, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that one's one that we pretty much cover every time we stream. Let me just take another look at what. Oh, this is cool that it actually doesn't show you guys what. Like, not that it matters. This wouldn't be a docs. But it's pretty cool that on the stream, it doesn't actually show this list here. Because just in case some of these are old. Drugs and murder, hookers and coke. Let's see what else is in here. Orange, KAKADU, TAINU. Shout out all these communities. And so one of the things I'm going to be looking at, we didn't get to any Tangang news. So that's actually going to be, if you guys want to see the Tangang news, I read out what the categories of news were earlier in the stream. If you guys want to see the Tangang news, you're going to have to join the Tangang main chat. And I'm about to go and drop that shit. And it's already 5 o'clock. So I'm going to have to tie this up. We're winding this up within the next 5 or so minutes. Cue the outros. We looked at GDAY. Oh, let's look at Bobo. I actually don't hold any Bobo. I don't think, unless some got airdropped to me or whatever, like or to HOA holders or something. Because I think Bobo was the highest performing Tangang coin this week. I've actually, you know what, as an outro, this is possibly, oh, is this alpha too dank to even say out loud? It's just rumors. I will drop it. I will drop it because I hate when people say shit and then don't say shit. And so now that I've said it, I'm going to say it. First of all, we're going to look at the Bobo chart, and hopefully I forget that promise so that I can ethically not tell you guys the alpha. But I don't think so because it's so dank. It's on my mind like 24/7. So this is the Bobo chart. So Bobo's been around since late last year. And this happened within the last week where it just went on a tear. So that was over 5x, 430% in that move. And then obviously it's pulled back so that, oh, boohoo, you'd only be up 3x now if you'd bought like anywhere in that range through here, like the average of this range. Oh no, you'd only be up 3.5x. So that's cool. Oh, and by the way, that's support as well. I'm going to let you guys try and work out whether those tiers were real, because only getting a 3x in crypto during a hyperbull, that could, I wouldn't actually blame someone for crying. Only a 3x. So, by the way, so to me, the hyperbull's only just starting. I've been saying we're at the tail end of the transitional period from bull to hyperbull. So we're basically rounding the corner. You know when race cars round a corner and they have to, you keep the throttle neutral, like or whatever you need to do with the brake and the throttle to make sure that you don't spin the fuck out and go to zero. But then when you come out onto the straight, you fucking lay the gas down. Think of that. That's basically this transition into the hyperbull. People are like, oh, it's not going fast enough. Yeah, no shit. Do you want the whole thing to break? Do you want the whole house of cards to come tumbling down? No. You need to fucking keep that shit steady and balanced. That's all that matters. All that matters is that you've got a good line and you've got good traction and you're carrying good momentum into the motherfucking hyperbull, and then you can lay down the gas and let that shit fly. So that's about it. That's about it, guys. Get ready for that fucking hyperbull. This was a great time to do the stream because I thought to myself, oh, maybe I should have done a stream when everything was literally on the fucking pump. But this is actually a more realistic time for people to actually be looking at these coins, and a good reminder that these straight up vertical pumps do actually get pullbacks that you can look to enter on. So people are just chatting in the comments to each other like I'm not even here. Okay, rude. Yo, what's your reason behind charting against US? Yeah, look, both are important. Both are important. But so you realize that if you're looking at all the charts against dollars, it's the same shit. Like in terms of like it's a step away. PLS has a price in dollars, so think of it, it's just a translation or a modification of the chart. That if you're aware of what Pulse has been doing, then you mentally know when you look at the chart how that theoretically influences things. Both are worth looking at. Both are important. Most people want to see dollars because most people, despite even the people who are like hardcore crypto enthusiasts and have been around for the longest time, their mind still works in dollars because when they go to buy the Lambo, it's priced in dollars. It's not priced in Bitcoin. and even if it was priced in Bitcoin, the dealer would be changing the price to be a different amount of Bitcoin every single fucking day or week to get the amount that they want in dollars. So the world we live in is still priced in dollars. So that means that people think in dollars, which means we typically chart in dollars. So I look at PLS charts often for myself, and I look at them as a sanity check to make sure that you're not bleeding against PLS. But for the purpose of charting on a stream like this, where I want to show people the charts, it's just better to use dollars. Like it's the industry standard is to look at charts in dollars. So I hope that doesn't sound like I'm contradicting myself. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm being a hypocrite, because by the way, I'm not doing either. But that is the answer to your question, that this show typically charts against the dollar and checks against PLS whenever I believe it is worth doing that. Cool. That's it. I've got to go. I've got to be somewhere. So that's it. Great stream. I said to myself as I ended and rugged the fucking thing. I forgot to do something at the start. I was going to simulcast I was going to basically start up a Twitter space, pin up the top that this stream was running, and then just have the mic open so that people could hear what I was saying. And then people would be like, gee, I wish I could see what he's fucking talking about. And that would force them to come over and sub to the channel. So it was going to be a bait and switch, and I forgot to do it. So that's all good though. That's all good. Rug time.